Patriotic poetry. On April 18, 1775, the sight of lights in a church steeple summons Paul Revere to ride from Charleston to Lexington, warning people that the British are coming. Other patriots, such as Sybil Langton, make similar rides at other times, but Revere becomes a huge legend. One reason is the following poem. Part of each is shown here. The Midnight Ride of Paul Revere by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Listen, my children, and you shall hear of the midnight ride of Paul Revere. On the 18th of April in 75, hardly a man is now alive who remembers the famous day and year. He said to his friend, and if the British march by land or sea, from the town tonight, hang a lantern aloft in the belfry arch of the North Church tower as a signal light, one if by land and two if by sea, and I on the opposite shore will be, ready to ride and spread the alarm through every Middlesex village and farm, for the country folk to be up and to arm. Therefore, his friends through alley and street wonders and watches with eager ears, till in the silence around him he hears the muster of men and at the barrack door, the sound of arms and the tramp of feet, and the measured tread of the grenadiers, marching down to their boats on the shore, meanwhile impatient to mount and ride, booted and spurred with a heavy stride. On the opposite shore walked Paul Revere. Now he patted his horse's sides. Now he gazed on the landscape far and near. Then impetuous stamped the earth, and turned and tightened his saddle's girth. But mostly he watched with eager search the belfry tower of the old North Church, as it rose above the graves on the hill, lonely and spectral and sombre and still. And lo, as he looks on the belfry's height, a glimmer and then a gleam of light, he springs to the saddle and the bridle he turns, but lingers and gazes till full on his sight a second lamp in the belfry burns. Most of colonial America lacked good roads, especially in rural areas. Travel was often slow and tedious. A fast horse was the most efficient way to travel. The peal of a horse's hoofs was as common then as the roar of a car engine is today. A hurry of hoofs in a village street, a shape in the moonlight, a bulk in the dark, and beneath from the pebbles in passing a spark, struck out by a steed flying fearless and fleet. That was all, and yet through the gloom and the light, the fate of a nation was riding that night, and the sparkle struck out by that steed and his flight kindled the land into flame with its heat. So through the night rode Paul Revere, and so through the night went his cry of alarm to every Middlesex village and farm, a cry of defiance and not of fear, a voice in the darkness, a knock at the door, and a word that shall echo forevermore. For borne on the night wind of the past, through all our history to the last, in the hour of darkness and peril and need, the people will waken and listen to hear the hurrying hoofbeats of that steed, and the midnight message of Paul Revere. Write a patriotic poem. Patriotism is the love that one personally feels for one's country. Write a patriotic poem with a rhyme scheme. First, brainstorm a list of ideas to organize your thoughts. You may create a mimic of Longfellow's style by beginning your poem with "Listen, and you shall hear." Then follow with your own story. Use rhyme to establish rhythm in your poem or to make parts of it more memorable for readers. Try to use figurative language in your writing and include vocabulary words such as mocking.